Due to some technical problem, our speaker is facing some issue. So as soon as he joins, so we will start our today's session.
Ma'am, sir has joined us.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the today's session. So it is a great privilege for me to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Vineet Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Botany, Acharya Narendra Dev College. Dr. Vineet did his BSc and MSc Botany from University of Delhi. He completed his PhD in the year 2016 from Department of Botany, University of Delhi under the guidance of Professor Rajesh Tandon. His area of interest is reproductive ecology of plants, biodiversity conservation and restoration, plant systematics, community ecology, and ethnobotany. He is also a co-principal investigator of a research project entitled Analysis of Pollination Incentives into Angiospermic Families. He has many book chapters, papers in national and international journals to his credit. He has attended several workshops, national and international conferences, for which he has been awarded the Best Presentation Award in the International Seminar on Current Avenues in Microbial and Plant Sciences organized by University of Gorbanga, West Bengal. So without taking any further time, now I would like to invite Dr. Vineet Singh to deliver his talk on use of statistical tool in data analysis. Dr. Vineet, please.
Thank you so much, Seema ma'am, for introducing me. Today we will begin with, uh, let me share my screen. Okay, I think the screen is visible, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
No, sir. Earlier it was visible.
Now, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we will study about the data analysis. I will be using board throughout, no PowerPoint today. Data analysis. So we all are surrounded by data. Data in the sense in any form. It can be any data like number of steps we walk and BP, blood pressure data, sugar data, pulse rate data, or any data of quantitative or qualitative value can be. We are all surrounding by these kind of data. The data can be in any form. It can be a molecular data, ecological data, data in sports, data in politics, elections, data in academics, NAC rating, NIRF rating, all are data. Now, data can be either quantitative, which is quantifiable, like what is quantitative data, which we can quantify. Quantify mean weight, which will give some number, height, blood pressure, pulse rate, all are quantitative. Another type of data is qualitative data, which is based on quality, like skin color, skin or eye color, flower color, shape. So these are qualitative data. Some examples of qualitative. Another type of data that you will be studying in this work, this workshop is molecular data, and this field is generally termed as bioinformatics, which will be dealt later in the summer training. Today we will concentrate only on these type of data, which is generally used in ecological studies, environmental studies, or epidemiological studies. Okay, now this field of data science is known as biostatistics. Which is made up of two words, biological sciences plus statistics. So any data of biological science, and we are using statistics. What is statistics? Statistics is to collect data. Everything is related to data. अब देखो सब चीज data से ही related. We have to collect data, then we have to organize data, then we have to analyze the data and interpret the data. So statistics is the science of collection, organization, analysis, and interpretation of the data sets. Okay, first is collection, then organize the data set, then third is analysis of the data, and fourth is interpret. How to interpret the data. We will study all four of these today. Okay, so the first thing is we need to know is population. What is a population? कहाँ से data लिया जाएगा? From a population. So population is basically the total number of individual observation from which inferences are to be made. Total number of observations. Total number of observations. For example, अगर हम कहेंगे we have to find out average weight, or we have to find out the average weight of all the people living in Delhi. So the population here is Delhi. Okay, or we have to find the sex ratio in India. So the population here is India. So it is the total number of observation which we are considering is the population. Now it is often very difficult to analyze the entire population. Therefore, we take samples out of it. अगर हमें दिल्ली में सबका weight निकालना है, तो हम अलग-अलग area से we can take samples. ठीक है? We will take samples out of this population. Now this sample should be representative or comparable to the entire population. अगर blood में if we have to find hemoglobin, तो पूरा blood नहीं निकालते ना, we take sample out of it from a person and we analyze the average hemoglobin present in the human body. Okay, so it should be comparable to the population. So it is a sample. So one thing is population and another thing is sample. Now set of value, this is very important. Set of value recorded on one or more observation, on one or more observational unit, either it will be a population or sample. Observational unit is known as data. Okay. So the value recorded on one or more observational unit. So observational unit can be of sample or can be of population. A wheat field, अगर हम सिर्फ एक wheat field में wheat grow कर रहे हैं, so in this case the population is finite. We can find out the length of each and every plant of wheat in this field. So this is a finite observation or finite population. We can find out the number of or plant height in this field. But in most of the cases, population is not finite. It is very large. Very difficult to find out the average weight of dogs in entire world. ठीक है ना? Average weight of any breed of dog in the world. ठीक है? So it is infinite population. So in this cases, we take samples. So this observational unit can be of either of sample or of population, and that value recorded is known as data. All right. जहां भी किसी को प्रॉब्लम हो ना आप पूछ लेना. Okay. Another thing is variable. Terms याद रखें. You have to remember the terms. Population, then sample, then data, and now next is variable. So what generally we collect data which varies from individual to individual. यही data collect करेंगे. If we have to collect or if we have to study something, we generally collect a data which varies from individual to individual. So either it can vary in quantity or quality. इसलिए that data which we collect is known as variable. Suppose weight of any person. It varies from person to person, so it is a variable. All right. So next is variable. Now data can also be classified into variable can be quantitative or qualitative also. Now data can be classified also in primary data or secondary data. Primary data is the original data set, which you obtained by direct personal interviews or by questionnaire method or by doing some research or experimental data. So in primary data, you are collecting the data sets from either by direct or personal interviews, by questionnaire method, or by research or experimental data. Generally in science, research and experiment data is considered as primary data, or also in sociology or psychology, you see many questionnaire type of data collection, method of collection of data is there. These all fall into the category of primary data. Now in secondary data, which is also known as processed data, processed or non-original data, where research work or data is collected by other person or it is published. It can be of two types, published or unpublished source. Where the original research is done by some other person. and you take data and make some inferences by using other data. So this is known as secondary data set. Secondary data. Okay. So qualitative, quantitative, now primary and secondary. Now this can be done research by experiments, surveys or census. Also census is included in primary data. Population census, weight census, these are primary data set. Now second part, this is collection of data set. First is to collect the data set. अगर हम वापस statistics की definition पे जाएंगे, first part is to collect the data set. Okay, it can be primary or secondary. Second part is organize a data set. Now very simple way to organize a data set is to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Okay, सबसे easiest way is to organize the data set into ascending or descending. Or say cumulative data, cumulative frequency manner. By arranging or organizing a data, it is easy to visualize the data set. Okay, so there are two parts. First, either by arranging data in tabular form, by making frequency charts, frequency tables, or by making or by representing the data in graphical or diagrammatic format. Okay, तो आपने data collect किया, then you tabulated that data set. मतलब अलग-अलग weight, suppose करो कि weight पे ही research कर रहे हैं of Delhi, then male and female. Area wise, you can divide area wise. Area 1, 2, 3, North Delhi, South Delhi, West Delhi, East Delhi. Male में कितना weight है, average, frequency कितनी है. You can either make frequency tables. Okay, suppose 55. How many people are there? How many males are there in 55 weights or 55 kgs, 56 kgs, 57 kgs? You can number the frequency. Say 5,000, 6,000, 6,500. Okay, so this way you can arrange the data set. Another type is diagrammatic or graphical representation, where you can represent your data in any format. Bar graph, okay, pie chart, frequency polygon curve, or any method, scatter plot, anything you like. Okay, so this part is of organizing the data set, which is easy to grasp. Okay, histograms, pie chart, polygon, bar graphs, scatter plot, all these are ways to represent the data. Now third part is in statistic is analyzing the data. Now in this part, role of statistics comes. Statistics can be of two types. It can be of descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics. Descriptive means which describes the data set. And second is inferential statistic, where inferences out of any data. Okay, so if you remember this definition of statistics, third is analyze and fourth is interpret. So in this case, this is analysis, which describes the data set, and this is interpret the data set. Okay, fourth is to interpret the data set, which comes in inferential statistics. Now let's start with descriptive statistics first. ये सारा आपने 8th to 10th क्लास में पढ़ा हुआ है. I'm giving you only the outlines of this. हर एक चीज में बहुत सारे और descriptions है जो कि एक entire class ले लेते हैं. लेकिन because you have studied it in 8th to 10th class, so I am going to only outline the major things. So descriptive statistics can be of two types. First is measures of central tendency. And the second is measures of dispersion. Start with measures of central tendency. So the main objective of this analysis is to represent, of any analysis, is to represent the data by one single value. Okay. Now to find out one value that is representative of whole data, there are certain basic statistics, which is arithmetic mean. So you have to find out, the main objective is to find out one representative data, one data which represent one value that represent the entire data set. So it can be done by using arithmetic mean or by median or by using mode. So basically arithmetic mean is generally an average. ठीक है, तो अगर हम एवरेज को देखें, it is sum of all values divided by total number of observations. There are three methods basically to find out the mean. कभी कभार क्या होता है कि हमें डायरेक्ट टोटल वैल्यूज की जगह हमें फ्रीक्वेंसी टेबल्स आर गिवन. फ्रीक्वेंसी टेबल्स वी विल सी लेटर ऑन इन एक्सेल कि फ्रीक्वेंसी टेबल से कैसे निकालते. ठीक है, तो इन सच केसेस जैसे एवरेज दिया हुआ है, मेल और एनीथिंग 56, 57 चॉइसेस का एवरेज दिया हुआ है, एनीथिंग. सो देयर आर थ्री वेज बेसिकली जो आपने पढ़े हैं. फर्स्ट इज डायरेक्ट मेथड, व्हिच इज दिस वन. Then assumed mean method, and third is step deviation. So basically these two methods are used, step deviation and direct method, for taking out the average value. Second thing is median, which is a midpoint of the data set. Point of So in this case, first you have to arrange the data either in ascending order or descending order. Then अगर तो it is an odd value, suppose 7. There are 7 numbers, 7 data. Then the mid value is 4th. Okay. N plus 1 by 2. If it is odd, if data set is odd, then the median or midpoint will be n plus 1 by 2. It is 4th in this case. And in even value, average of the two midpoints. Suppose the value 8, so the two midpoints is 4 and 5. So fourth value, average of fourth value and fifth value will give the median in this case. Okay, so in odd value the median is different, and in even number of data set the median is found by averaging the two center values. So it is a midpoint. This is average. Arithmetic mean is average, median is midpoint. And third is mode. Mode is that value which occurs maximum number of time. Value with maximum frequency. So in a data set, there can be more than one mode. Okay, bimodal, trimodal, there can be more than one mode. Any value that has maximum frequency is a mode. Okay, so by using these three methods, we can find out one central value, one value that represent the entire data set. Okay, so this is known as measures of central tendency. एक ही value मिलती है इससे. Now another thing is measures of dispersion. Measures of dispersion. Now, if we consider this is our data set. So the average value is this. This is mean, and some points are there on this side, lower than the mean, and some points are higher than the mean value. So this is the average value. Now, generally mean, if you find a value of mean, average 57, 56 of weight of an individual, you cannot, by using mean only, can describe the population, how population is spread, because suppose this population, this is population 1, this is population 2, both have same mean, but the spread is different. Can be true for this also. Spread is different in all three population, but the mean is same. So by looking only into the mean value, we cannot find the how population is behaving. Okay, so we need another measures to describe the population, and that mean the measures are measures of central tendency. Okay, so measures of central tendency generally has range, variance, and standard deviation. Only the basic ones. So range is basically, अच्छा एक चीज और रह गया. Now mean of the population is represented by symbol mu. Population mean. अगर population का mean है, it will always be represented by mu. And the mean of any sample is represented by symbol x bar. Okay. Now moving on to central tendencies. Range. Range is basically the largest value minus the smallest value. Total range of any data set is largest value and difference between largest and the smallest value is the range. Second is variance. Variance. Variance is basically calculated as x minus x bar upon n minus 1. So what is this basically? First, let us understand the mean deviation. First is mean deviation. Variance से पहले mean deviation पढ़ते हैं. Mean deviation is basically the sum of x minus x bar upon n. अभी समझाता हूँ क्या. What is this? So this is a data set and this is mean. Okay, so some points are there. Some points are there. So what is deviation? Mean deviation. How much is this value is deviated from the mean? Similarly, how much this value is deviated from the mean? Mean से कितना दूर है? So this point, each point minus में the mean. और total से अगर हम कर दें, total number divide, it gives the mean deviation. Average ही निकाल रहे हैं. We are finding the average deviation. Okay, we are finding average deviation. Mean deviation में generally एक symbol होता है mode. Mode लगा होता है. क्यों होता है? अभी बताते हैं. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a data set. इसका mean होगा 3. Let's find x minus x bar. This is x minus x bar. This is x bar, which is mean. So x minus x bar will be minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. ठीक है. अगर हम सम करेंगे तो आएगा 0. ओके. So this mode sign जब भी हम इसको करते हैं तो ये बाहर आता है तो प्लस हो जाता है. So in this case the mean deviation will be 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. So here the sum mode अगर हम इसका ले लेंगे it will become 6. Okay, and total number of observation is 5. 1 point something is the mean deviation. Now generally mode नहीं होता use. So negative sign mode mathematics में use होता है generally. Mean deviation इसलिए generally represent नहीं किया जाता. Variance represent किया जाता है. Now what is variance? Now this negative sign is not a mathematical negative sign, but it provides the direction. What is the direction? कि mean से जो point है is on left side और right side. अगर right side होगा तो positive direction, left तो negative. So this negative sign is providing a direction, not the value. Okay. So in this case, to negate the direction, we do the square. Then it will become 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. So total is 10 and variance is 2. Okay, so this is the variance, which is s square equal to x minus x bar, the difference with mean of every sample, upon n minus 1. For any sample, अगर population होता तो अभी बताता हूँ what is difference between a population and a standard deviation. Variance of population and variance of sample. So this is a variance of sample, s square. Variance of sample variance, and population variance will be, it is known as sigma square equal to same thing, x minus mu. Mu is population mean upon n. N is population sample. So every time in sample we take n minus 1, and in population we take n. Why? Because suppose this is a population having n number of individuals. So if we take out one sample out of it, so the entire population will become n minus 1. So generally, if we take a sample, we consider it as, we are studying this sample. So the whole population, suppose there are, ऐसे समझो this. This is a stair with 10, this is a ladder with 10 steps. So you are standing on the first, so how many steps left? 9. So you are holding this observation. So in sample case, it is always, we have to divide the numerator with n minus 1. And in population, it is n. So this is variance. अब क्या है, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन बिल्कुल सिंपल है, अगर वेरिएंस समझ आ गया. सो वेरिएंस इज स्क्वायर. हमने जो भी पॉइंट्स थे, क्या किया हमने, इसका डिस्टेंस इंक्रीज कर दिया, डबल कर दिया, जो यहाँ था उसका डिस्टेंस डबल कर दिया. सो द एक्चुअल डिस्टेंस गेट डबल्ड और स्क्वायर्ड, not double but square. Okay, so we just squared the point or direction, और ज्यादा नेगेटिव हो गया और ज्यादा पॉजिटिव. So last measure of distance dispersion is standard deviation. Okay, so in standard deviation, what we'll do is, standard deviation of sample is just square root of variance. This is variance, s square. So square root of variance is standard deviation. कैसे, जो हमने स्क्वायर किया था उसको वापस नॉर्मलाइज कैसे करेंगे, बाय डूइंग ए स्क्वायर रूट. दोबारा से स्क्वायर रूट कर दिया. So the actual deviation, this is known as actual deviation, standard deviation we have found. This is actual deviation. Variance is double of square deviation, which is also known as square deviation. Variance is a square deviation, and this is the standard deviation after square rooting. तो हमने क्या किया, कुछ नहीं किया. जो डेविएशन हमें फाइंड करना था कि कितना जो पॉइंट्स हैं वो वेरी कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम मीन, so we generally subtracted from this from mean. Now to negate the minus sign or to negate the direction, we squared this thing and then we again square rooted this thing. So we found the standard deviation. So it is a better representative of any data set. So आपने ये देखा होगा, एक मिनट अगर शेयर करूं फोल्डर, एक सेकंड होल्ड करें. सपोज suppose this is a data. This is a pre-poll survey. All of this is a data, normal data. 306 number of seats each party will win. ठीक है, तो कैसे करते हैं? पूरा पॉपुलेशन तो नहीं देखते हैं, सारे वोटर्स से तो नहीं पूछते हैं कि किसको वोट दिया, ऐसे नहीं करते हैं. सो दे टेक सैंपल्स. आपने देखा होगा इंडिया टुडे बताता है कि इतना सैंपल साइज 5,000 इंडिविजुअल्स, 10,000 इंडिविजुअल, 20 लाख इंडिविजुअल, कितना सैंपल साइज. तो जितना ज्यादा सैंपल साइज होता है उतना ही अच्छा उसका एनालिसिस होता है उस वाले चैनल पर. They are more closer to the real figure. Okay, so this is the sample. Another type is wait a minute, of data is this one. एक second. This one. Okay, now this is another type of data. So BJP plus allies will get 95 seats plus minus 8. So this plus minus 8 is standard deviation. ठीक है, एरर रेट अभी भी वो समझाते हैं एरर. तो प्लस इधर या तो 95 प्लस 8 हो सकता है या 95 माइनस 8 हो सकता है. सो JDO प्लस 137 प्लस 8 और माइनस. सो दिस फिगर इज जनरली द एरर और स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन, दोनों में टर्म्स में हम इसको बना सकते हैं. सो ओके, so this is standard deviation. And another thing is error. Standard error. Last thing in this discussion is standard error, which is standard deviation divided by under root of total number of observations. It is a, if we divide standard deviation with total number of observation, तो standard deviation यहाँ क्या था, ये, ठीक है, इसका अंडर रूट. इसको n, अगर हम इसको n इधर ही माने, अंडर रूट n, सपोज ये n ही होता, हम पॉपुलेशन का लेते और इसको अंडर रूट रखते, देन स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन एरर क्या होता, और इसको अंडर रूट से n से डिवाइड कर देते, यानी ये अंडर रूट n ऊपर आ जाता, डिनोमिनेटर से ये कट जाता, and it will become only the deviation. This is the error. Error from the mean. कितना दूर है मीन से वो हमें each value, single value और averaging, क्योंकि सिग्मा लिया है ना हमने बाहर. So this is standard error. Dividing the standard deviation with under root the total number of observation. It is standard error. Okay. So now summarizing this, summarizing the descriptive statistics. आपके सिलेबस में भी है, बॉटनी ऑनर्स के सिलेबस में है बायोस्टैटिस्टिक्स, तो पूरा आप इसको एक्सप्लेन करके टाइम लेके समझ सकते हैं हर एक चीज को. डिस्क्रिप्टिव स्टैटिस्टिक्स में मेजर ऑफ सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी, मीन, मीडियन, मोड. Another thing is measures of dispersion में standard deviation, variance, standard deviation and standard error. These are important. Okay. Now next thing is inferential statistics. this one. Let's move there. Inferential statistics. तो आपके पास डेटा है, आपने उसको टेबुलेट कर लिया, देन आपने उसको ऑब्जर्व भी कर लिया कि उसमें क्या मीन, मीडियन है, मोड क्या है, स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन क्या है। देन सिर्फ डेटा से आप ये नहीं करते, नाउ यू पुट ए क्वेश्चन टू इट, ठीक है, एंड दैट इज नोन एज हाइपोथेसिस टेस्टिंग। क्या हाइपोथेसिस बनाया, क्यों डेटा कलेक्ट किया, व्हाई हैव यू कलेक्टेड द डेटा? हाइपोथेसिस इज a premise or a claim that we want to test. Question है, what do we want to test by using this data? ठीक है, so we make a hypothesis which is known as null hypothesis, which is similar to what is currently accepted. ठीक है, so it is represented by H naught. Then there is alternative hypothesis, which is a research question or problem, or simply you can say the claim which has to be tested. So suppose one says that uske chimney se they get 500 gram of, one person says that he makes bricks of 500 gram you buy in his chimney. Now this is a null hypothesis, which is generally a proposed hypothesis or currently accepted hypothesis, that his chimney will make exactly 500 gram of bricks. Okay, so alternative hypothesis will be just mathematical opposite, is not equal to 500 gram. So now there can be two ways to reject this hypothesis. So the possible outcome will be either null hypothesis H naught gets rejected. Outcome क्या होगा research के बाद? Either the H naught is rejected or H naught we fail to reject H naught, or H naught is accepted. Okay, so these are two conditions. तो क्या है, to reject this claim made by that person, we can show या तो bricks का weight is less than 500, either it is less than 500 or more than 500. कैसे भी शो कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो brick size can be say 450 or it can be 600 to 700. Okay. So to reject that claim क्या चाहिए हमें, samples, ठीक है। उसके चिमनी से we take samples, 50 samples, we have taken 50 samples of bricks, we weighted each and every one of them, then we are making it. So suppose the mean weight of 50 sample is 700. claim is 500. Is this easy to reject his claim? Yes or no? It is easy or not to reject the claim of 500 if average weight comes to 700 gram? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what if it is 515 or 520 or 535? Now, can we reject it? Or 475? 480? We can't, because number to 500. Okay. So for this, we perform tests. We perform test, and that test is known as test statistics. अभी इसके बारे में समझें. Now, this example में you have understood that there are two ways to reject. So this is a two-tailed test. Two-tailed test. Okay, कोई नहीं. So first is two-tailed test. So this is two-tailed test. And suppose that person says the brick weight is more than 500 gram. In his chimney, the brick that he made is always more than 500. Now, to reject that hypothesis, there is only one way. You have to show that the average weight of the bricks is less than 500. Significantly less than. So this significantly we will discuss. So in this case, there is only one way to reject that hypothesis, and is when the weight of the bricks were significantly lower than the recorded. Okay, so these kind of test is known as one-tailed test. अगर हम इसको graphically समझें, so this is mean. These are standard deviation 1, 2. There is a certain area, 2.5% there of the curve and 2.5% there. So this area is known as rejection zone. अगर हमारा जो point, suppose करो these are samples जो उसने वे किए हैं चिमनी वाले में, and we are measuring bricks, and the same brick values comes always, the total average value is there in the rejection, then only we can reject that hypothesis. So if there is a positive direction and there is negative direction, we can reject this hypothesis, the first one, which is equal to 500 gram. So the first hypothesis can be rejected in both ways. Only 5% probability. इसको अभी हम डिटेल में और समझेंगे. We have the 95% confidence that this value which is there is in the rejection. In a two, this is in two tail t-test. In one tail t-test, we have only one direction. And this direction is there. If he says that Briggs sucrose is always more than 500 grams. So to reject this hypothesis, we have to prove is less than 500 grams. Okay, so this is there is only one way. This type of test is known as one tail t-test. Coming on to the test statistics. So there can be two type of tests: non-parametric, and parametric tests. नाम से ही सजेस्ट कर रहा है नॉन पैरामीट्रिक एंड पैरामीट्रिक टेस्ट. So in non-parametric, let's start with first with parametric test, where parameters are decided, जहाँ पर हम mean, median, averages ये सब कर सकते हैं. In this case, we use t-test, ANOVA, and one type of correlation which is known as Pearson correlation test. So deciding the test is very important कि हम कौन सा टेस्ट कर रहे हैं. नॉन पैरामीट्रिक टेस्ट इज जनरली द chi-square टेस्ट. And Spearman correlation, generally qualitative ones. Okay, so how to decide what test to use? Generally, what is chi-square test? Start with the chi-square test. Is basically observed minus expected square. Formulas वगैरह आप कहीं से भी बुक्स वगैरह से पढ़ सकते हो. Let's understand what is a chi-square test. Okay, suppose अब suppose करो कि we are studying the color preference, male and female. This is a non-parametric test. आपको इसमें डेटा नहीं मिलेगा. आपको क्या क्वेश्चन है? रेड, ब्लू, व्हाइट, orange, anything. So how many number of males like red color? Say 30. 20 blue, white 50, according to okay. Orange 15 and pink 4. But in female case it can be opposite. So is there any bias of color? Suppose this is 20, some value, 15, 40, 25, and this is 35. So is there, by looking into the data set, is there any bias of color between male and female? So this is a one kind of. Generally, chi-square test, it is also known as goodness of fit test. In which you test your data with the known data or the data that you have observed. Suppose shopkeeper says that on various day the average number of customers he gets is this much, 54, 25, 75, 320, 120, 250. So this is the claim made by the person. Okay. Okay. So this is claim made by the person or observed value. What will be the expected value? How it varies? Does it vary significantly from the expected value or not? This is known as goodness of fit. एक और एग्जांपल इसके बाद दूंगा. एक्सपेक्टेड क्या है कि टोटल नंबर ऑफ जो पर्सन थे अगर हम इक्वली डिवाइड कर देते इन ईच डे, सो इक्वल नंबर ऑफ पर्सन विल विजिट on each day. This will be the expected. This is the expected results, but observations are different. So how much the observational value differs from expected value? उसके लिए हम कौन सा टेस्ट लेते हैं? chi-square test. Always chi-square test. So one example is from genetics. ठीक है? When you hybridize two plants, all, okay, and you just put the seed in soils and wait for the plant to grow. Then you count the number, the ratio, how many tall. You have sown 500 seeds. 500 में से कितने tall? Say 350. And short 1. So it has to follow a Mendel ratio. 3:1. है ना? But if you sow 500 plants and tall are 200 or 250 and short are 250, 1:1 ratio, which differs from the Mendel ratio. तो exactly ऐसा तो आता नहीं, तो क्या आता है? Suppose generally क्या results आते हैं? Tall का आता है, suppose करो 315 and short is 185. Okay, so 315 and 185. So does this value differs from the Mendel ratio or not? तो हम कौन सा टेस्ट यूज करते हैं? So this is expected value. Expected क्या होगा? Mendel ratio. And observed is this one. Okay. So expected होना चाहिए था 3:1, but observed is this one. Is this value significantly differs from the expected value? This can be studied by using a chi-square test.